Lucasfilm announced 3 new movies at Star Wars Celebration, and fans have been wondering if and when these are actually going to be released. Well, strap yourselves in because we have an update on when we can expect these movies. But it leaves more questions than answers.
You're going down a path I can't follow.
Let's start by looking at this new, quite frankly, strange announcement from Disney, how this could have a knock-on effect for the Star Wars Disney Plus shows, and getting some speculation on just what this next couple of years will look like in terms of Star Wars content. Now, to fully grasp what's going on here, we need to take it back a few months to Star Wars Celebration Europe, where they announced these movies at a special panel on the Friday, and it was at this moment they brought out Daisy Ridley and announced her return as Rey Skywalker in one of these movies set 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker. Now, the other 2 movies they announced were, of course, the Dave Filoni Mandalorian Mandoverse crossover movie, which is being called the Heir to the Empire movie, and it's said to be a live-action retelling of the Timothy Zahn novel, which has your heroes going up against Grand Admiral Thrawn. And then you had the James Mangold movie, of course, he's the Indiana Jones 5 director, and that was going to be set long ago, and it was going to cover the origins of the Force, or the dawning of the Force, it's being called, where you're going to see the earliest beings discovering the Force for the first time. Now, we always believed that the new Jedi Order movie would be releasing around 2025, the Filoni movie around 2026, and then the Mangold movie being either 2027 or 2028. They were generally the dates that were floating around online around about Celebration. But we now know there's been a delay to some of these movies, and I have to say I think it's due to the writers' strike that's ongoing at the moment, which has really put a stop to any writers working on scripts at the moment, which of course is then delaying TV shows and movies, which is going to have a knock-on effect in the future. So the article we got up to date is from Star Wars Newsnet, and they cover this really well. So Star Wars new release calendar adds 2 films in 2026 and removes December 2025 date. So Disney has announced that they will no longer be releasing a Star Wars film on December 19th, 2025. Instead, they are planning on releasing 2 feature films in 2026, 7 months apart, on May the 22nd, 26, and December 18th, 26. Now, I have to say, just with the dates there alone, I do like the idea of having Star Wars release in May. That's what it did historically with George Lucas, but I also like having the December release dates where you're, in the holiday period. It's quite festive, and it feels nice having a Star Wars movie. But then what strikes me as being really odd about this is the fact that Lucasfilm, Disney, Kathleen Kennedy, the rest of it, they believe that part of the reason why the Solo movie didn't perform as expected was because it released something like 7 months after The Last Jedi, and there was a little bit of Star Wars fatigue going around. That, and also they thought the actor who played Han Solo in that movie didn't capture the magic like Harrison Ford, but that's a conversation for a different time. So if they honestly believe that, then why would they go and drop 2 Star Wars movies in the space of 6 months in the same year if it didn't work before? And I honestly believe that was the reason. But on top of this, it was only a couple of months ago that Kathleen Kennedy came out and said that they needed to eventize Star Wars and likened it to James Bond. And in my opinion, I think Star Wars is bigger than James Bond. Why would you then say, you need to have a James Bond kind of release schedule where it's maybe every 3-4 years to then go and release 2 movies within 1 year? It just makes no sense. Do they really know what they're doing? I'll leave that one up to you guys. But it also says the first film on that list will come out just 3 weeks after Avengers The Kang Dynasty is released in theaters. Disney has also moved around Marvel's release calendar. So the company has not announced which movies will come out on each date. However, the most likely scenario is that this is the Shemana Bay-Chinoy's directed film they were targeting for 2025. That was going to be the Rey one, and that due to the writer's strike, they had to press pause on for a moment. Meanwhile, the December date is likely the Dave Filoni directed film that will culminate the overarching story told in The Mandalorian and spin-off shows during the New Republic era. Now, there is a third Star Wars theatrical release marked on the calendar for December 17th, 2027, which as far as we know hasn't been moved. Given recent production updates, it's likely this is the James Mangold written and directed film, but it's also possible that this could also be, as it goes on to say, the Taika Waititi directed film as well. Now, that was rumoured to be scrapped, but it's still very much on the go. It's that it seems like Taika Waititi is struggling with the script at the moment. He's taking a little bit longer to do that. And Kathleen Kennedy actually called him out a little bit on it in an interview during, I think it was Star Wars Celebration, saying that, he's rather slow. So make of that what you will. But I mean, that 2027 one, I think it'll be the Mangold one, but it could also be the Taika Waititi one as well. Now, you're probably wondering if this is then going to affect The Mandalorian and the other Star Wars Disney Plus shows. Well, to be honest with you, I think it most likely will. These writer strikes aren't just for movies, they're also covering the TV shows. Now, if we look at the next show that's coming up, which is Ahsoka, which is on August the 23rd, I would say that's close enough now. That one is going to be safe. But anything after that, it's anyone's call at this stage. And at the moment, you're meant to be getting the Skeleton Crew series, which is also within the Mandalorian timeline, releasing in 2023, but they haven't given a fixed month for that yet. So it would likely have been towards the end of the month, maybe November, December time. But I mean, that one could quite possibly be pushed into 2024, you know, for the first couple of months. Maybe it could come out in March, April 2024 with these delays. Now, although Skeleton Crew is finished itself, the shows that they're planning to drop afterwards aren't, and it's them shows that have also been held up with these strikes. And then originally in them first couple of months of 2024 was meant to be getting the Acolyte series, which of course isn't part of the Mandoverse. But if Skeleton Crew is now delayed, that means that Acolyte will most likely be delayed and likely become a summer release. Now, the reason they would do this is because the shows that come afterwards, Andor Season 2 and The Mandalorian Season 4, have been held up with these strikes. So instead of Andor Season 2 releasing in summer 2024, that could possibly be pushed towards the back end of 2024, maybe early 2025, with The Mandalorian Season 4 still following afterwards. So The Mandalorian Season 4 is always going to come after Andor Season 2. Now, of course, that is purely my speculation, but we've been looking at this long enough now to know that Disney, Lucasfilm, they aren't afraid to delay projects. And the reason they do this is because they forecast when subscribers are expected to drop on Disney Plus, and usually that's in quiet spaces without any content for what they like. So they try and drop things in between to keep people subscribed for longer, more revenue for them. I mean, to be honest, it makes perfect sense from a business perspective, but of course, it's not our money, we aren't part of their business, and as long as we like the movies, as long as it's a good movie, that's all that really matters. So we shouldn't really worry about how close together movies are going to be, as long as we enjoy them. And to be honest, I'm quite looking forward to the fact we're going to get 2 movies in 1 year. So it looks like we might be only getting Ahsoka this year, and then Skeleton Crew and Acolyte next year, and the year after Andor and Mando Season 4. But then 2026 comes around and you've got 2 movies to look forward to, which makes me wonder where they're really going to go with these Disney Plus shows after 2025, as there's no other Star Wars shows in active development at this stage. Not even a Mandalorian Season 5, not even an Ahsoka Season 2. Now, I do really hope these Disney Plus shows do continue, as well as having the movies, and honestly, I think they will. They've been doing that with Marvel anyway. But being more specific, I do hope that these Mandoverse movies continue after Dave Filoni's Heir to the Empire movie, which is meant to be this big culmination event where all these characters come together to defeat the evil. I definitely think after Thrawn is defeated, or maybe they won't completely get rid of him in one film and that could go on to make other movies with these shows filling in the gaps. That's probably the best bet, but I definitely think there's more stories to be had with Din Djarin on his own in Mandalorian Season 5, Season 6, but also in Ahsoka Season 2, Season 3. Maybe we could see her really exploring and learning more about the Force with that character. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think these Disney Plus shows will slow down now we're getting movies again? Remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new, leave a like on the video, I'd greatly appreciate it. I'll catch you in the next one. May the Force be with you.